After the death of martial artist and action film hero Bruce Lee, the Chinese movie industry tried to capitalize on the dragon's legendary but all too short movie career by releasing a series of features starring lookalikes. These copycat actors even changed their names to sound more like the original. Notable stars include Bruce Lee spelt L-I, Bruce Lei spelt L-A-I, Dragon Lee, Lee Bruce, Bruce Lee spelt L-E, and my personal favourite, Bruce Lie. This was all in order to fool the cinema-going public into thinking their favourite ass-kicking actor was still one-inch punching bad guys from beyond the grave. It would be like if Chris Pratt died today, and next year Hollywood released Protectors of the Universe, starring Keith Prott, or Prehistoric Land, starring Kurt Prick. This phenomenon was known as Bruceploitation, and in many ways it still exists today, especially in fighting games. Bruce Lee clones tended to frequent arcade cabinets of the 90s, and are normally preferred by players who like to rack up quick combo flurries and devastating flying kicks. Here are 6 of the best. Maxi, the Soul Calibur series. Upon first glance, Maxi may appear to be more king of rock and roll than king of kung fu, but don't let appearances deceive you. Despite his hailing from Japan rather than China, Maxi bounces back and forth on his feet, much like Mr. Lee's signature Jeet Kune Do style, swings a nunchuck a la Fist of Fury or Enter the Dragon, and lets out a signature cat kicked in the bull scream as he lands his blows upon his opponents. Maxi is one of those easy to pick up, difficult to master characters. Frantic button bashing could unleash a satisfying combo, but one full step and you could end up pratfalling off the stage, in a scene less reminiscent of the Big Boss and more that of the Three Stooges. Jan Lee, the Dead or Alive series. Probably more renowned nowadays for its bikini-clad women bouncing their beach balls and their boobies, once upon a time Dead or Alive was a serious contender in the fighting game genre. Jan Lee was the reoccurring Lee-alike, sharing more than just his inspiration's surname, but also his fighting style and noises. Jan was all about timing. One well-placed back fist or sliding side kick would knock your opponent down on their ass, or better still, into the destructible environment, a tactic sure to send whomever you are playing against into an irritable fit of rage, declaring it a cheat move and throwing their controller across the room, against the wall, or at your smug, smiling face. Liu Kang, the Mortal Kombat series. Liu Kang is the main protagonist in the MK series and one of the OG BL fighting game clones. His look and style emulated Bruce Lee so much that in the sequel, series creators Ed Boon and John Tobias decided to update his appearance to incorporate longer hair and a headband, a must-have accessory for all fighting game leads. But despite this visual makeover, he still retained many aspects of the Lee legend, including the battle cries and flying kicks. In later games, he even adapted the ability to literally turn into a dragon via his animality finisher, the same mythical beast that gave Lee his nickname, despite him never fighting or turning into one in any of his films. I never realized how much I wanted to see Bruce Lee fight an actual dragon until I spoke that last sentence. He truly was taken from us too soon. Fei Long, the Street Fighter series. Debuting in Super Street Fighter 2 alongside Cammy, DJ and T-Hawk, Fei Long is about as direct a copy of Bruce as you can get. A Hong Kong action movie star out to prove himself as a real combatant in the Street Fighter tournament, Fei Long even references Bruce and his son Brandon Lee in his endgame cutscene, saying there could never be another legend like the Great One and his son. He then goes on to train future warriors who can be seen practicing around a monument which appears to be that of the martial arts legend himself. A nice little nod of respect from Capcom. Martial Law and Forest Law, the Tekken series. Father and son duo Martial and Forest Law are probably the closest to Bruce Lee in fighting game history, in terms of both looks and fighting style. The lean physique, the hairdo, the costumes, which included the famous Game of Death yellow and black striped jumpsuit, emulate the Dragon 100%. Even when Martial adopted the dirty tash greasy hair look in Tekken 4, Forrest still kept the basic Bruce alive and well in the Tekken Tag series. There is even a 21-minute video on YouTube which shows the comparisons between the real-life legend and his virtual doppelgangers, highlighting precise moves, combos and poses that were lifted from Mr. Lee's major motion picture releases. That is a lot of effort for Namco to go through to give game players the definitive Bruce Lee on-screen fighting experience. Bruce Lee, the UFC series. The only thing that can beat a copycat is the man himself. Making his debut in the 1984 Atari platformer simply named Bruce Lee, he went on to posthumously star in a number of titles, including 1989's Bruce Lee Lives, 2002's Quest for the Dragon, and 2003's Return of the Dragon. But it wasn't until 2014's UFC did Lee become a bona fide one-on-one modern fighting game character. Being a pioneer of believing in a variety of fighting style techniques rather than subscribing to just the one discipline, Lee was in some ways one of the founders of mixed martial arts and a perfect unlockable character for the game. What makes things even more interesting is that in-game Bruce fights in a more grounded and realistic style, as opposed to the OTT backflipping cinematic style that was echoed and amplified for the more cartoony fighting game universes in which his imitators performed. This is the Bruce Lee you would see in an actual fight, something only available in grainy footage before, and it fanned the flames of MMA fans' debates on how the Dragon would perform in an actual UFC octagon had he been around today. And that's the end of my list. I've been Tim, and thanks for watching.